Good morning, Uganda. Once again, thank you so much for watching UBC TV this morning. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue, and every Friday, always full of conversations, always full of lots of talent, and it's what we are here for. It's Good Morning Uganda, the Friday edition. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and like I said earlier, we're talking about divorce, separation, and the increasing level of single motherhood. Now, right as Ada talked about the topic that we are going to discuss this morning, somebody asked me, is it a trend to be a single mother? Interesting question, that one is. My answer to the question was no. It's not a trend. I don't think one should be proud or budge themselves as single mother. But we do have somebody in studio, one whose testimony is amazing. I hope we get time to hear a bit of that testimony, but to see the goodness of the Lord in her life. And she'll be speaking to us in regards to this very same topic. Now, for you, your duty is to save the number 0709-602592 and be part of the conversation. Share your opinion, ask the question. Now, looking at a bit of statistics, recent data shows that from Uganda, that is from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, highlights show that statistics of single mothers have increased in the country from 20% to a whole 30%. And when it comes to divorce initiated, most of formal divorce cases have been initiated by women, and this covers and accounts for over 80% of formal divorce petitions at the High Court's Family Division petitioned by women. Now, in studio to have this conversation with us is Hope Kemigisha, who is the vision bearer, Petals Leadership Institute. And Hope Kemigisha is a prophetic and healing minister. She is an identity and purpose coach, as well as one person who repositions or helps women and girls as well as youth to be repositioned globally into their purpose. And she is part of the Dominate Youth Movement. A very good morning, Hope Kemigisha. Pleasure having you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so very much for having me.
All right, you've had the statistics. 80% of women initiate formal divorce.
Yes.
At the High Court.
Yes.
Over 80% at that. And also the statistics of single mothers in Uganda from 20% all the way to 30%. What do you make of this?
Well, for starters, I'm looking at a home whereby, why do people get married would be my first question. And if you really don't know why you're getting married, you're never going to be able to sustain it. So we have a generation where people are marrying for comfort. It is like a rescue camp. Someone is just running into marriage because they can't parent, because everyone is telling them you're old enough, you need to get married. And it's a trend to do kwanjula and the wedding. It's no longer families talking about going to another family and figuring it out. So when a woman now gets in there and realizes that her expectations are not actually what she's meeting, or the reality is completely different, they are disappointed and they don't know how to handle that. Then you get in a family whereby leadership is not there. You expected security, number one. You expected leadership. You expected life to get better, but you realize you're actually the one who is fending for the family. You're doing much more than what you bargained for in the first place. So what happens? The moment a woman realizes I can actually go out there and do the role of a man, which is to fend for the family, now provide security, pay school fees, why do I need the man? So that is why we're having 80% of the women filing for divorce. The men, at that moment, a woman is looking at a man like, where is your value? What are you adding in this home? If you're telling me that if I can pay rent and pay school fees, why do I need you to even control me? So that is what is happening right now.
And one would wonder, how are the men perceiving this? Have they lost their positions? Are they dropping the ball, or has society pushed them to lose their positions?
Yes, in a way, society has pushed the men. Why? When the women emancipation came up, many women rose to be equal with men, yet in reality you can never be equal to a man. When we go back to the template of God in creation, a woman has to be submissive to a man. So why are you submissive? Because there is leadership. So once the leadership is not there, that's where we find the women doing whatever they want. If I can take you back to the Garden of Eden as a preacher of the word, the only reason why the snake had an opportunity to talk to Eve is because the woman had no leadership. She was wandering around, talking to anybody that would come. But if guidance and leadership was given to this woman initially, this is what we do, this is who we follow, this is what we don't do, you don't go here, you do this. That is the leadership I'm talking about in a home. Void of that, you find women rising up to do whatever it is they feel they can do. And you also have to also remember that a woman is not a weaker vessel. A helpmate cannot be a weaker vessel. If I tell you, sir, help me carry this table, I'm not calling a weaker person to help me carry a table. I'm actually calling a stronger person. So women, at that moment, we are perceived to be weak because of submission. But when they tested the waters, imagine I'm at work, I'm doing a job which another man is doing, we are all out there hustling, and then you want me to come back home and submit, and yet we are doing the same things. That was not the template of marriage initially. Provision, leadership, vision came from the man, and then the women were able to drive it. But today you marry your boyfriend, long-time boyfriend, and the next day you stand into a blogger. What am I going to do with you?
Let me look at experiences as they come in life.
Yes.
Usually in the church space, we are told to ask the right questions.
Yes.
In the due course of dating, courtship. So that as a woman, you know what you're submitting to.
Exactly.
And of course, you ask the questions of what's your vision. He says it.
Do people ask that? And
I will say that I asked, may I ask these questions?
That's why you're still married.
but I will say that many a times we are advised into these things.
Yes.
You ask these questions. Many ask these questions, right?
Yeah.
And they are stated. This man states his vision, which you either have to say yes to, with a guidance that as an individual created by God, you also had a vision or whatever purpose God designed you for. And when you hear what he has to table, you realize that you align.
Yes.
So yes, you go ahead.
Yes.
You get on there, and this person is actually, of course.
Yes.
Of course of what you submitted to.
Exactly.
Of course of what you said yes to.
Yes.
Of course of the channel you know you are designed and purposed to follow.
Which is where I was telling you, you marry somebody and he ends up being a blogger. I'm not saying bloggers are bad. He ends up doing something where you're not party. You can't help him. So where, what exactly does submission mean when it's not in line with my purpose, when years are dying, when everything is just going waste? There is no submission. That's just relating. That is doing a marriage for views, for family, for people just to see you married. Because at the end of the day, God did not create marriage just as a fantasy. It was for purpose. That's why he placed Adam in a garden. He gave him work to do. And then Eve comes in to be a helpmate. So if you don't have a vision of which my own vision, which can fit in, then that becomes a problem. And that is what we have today. Male child is not mentored. You, the lady, can be in church and you can be mentored, told to ask the right questions. Our boys, our men are not mentored. No one is telling them what to do. And even when they start and the economy is tough or things are not working, the tenacity and the zeal to pursue and follow through is usually crippled. So people are looking for money, and money has become the substitute of vision and legacy. Thank you. When you use the word vision and legacy, for me it lands. Thank you. Now, I want us to even look at what can be done, because it feels like it's dire. Reason is, if you look at the 80% that is in the Uganda National Bureau of Statistics, this 80% of divorces, over 80% of divorces initiated by women, you find that they're actually from Christian families. Well, I'm a daughter of a reverend. I initiated divorce. I cannot be shy to talk about it because I'll be dead. Thank you very much. I attended the very first Dominate conference. Yes. And your testimony was very powerful. Very powerful. Right now you're back on your feet, living in purpose, grooming others into purpose. You have the ability, the authority to speak into marriage.
and how people should have the right marriages. Yet you also had your own tatters that you went through, but using your testimony now to build others. Speak into how one can stay married, or why should anyone divorce in case it is to happen. And yet the Bible says God hates divorce.
So does God hate lies. So does he hate manipulation. So does he hate fornication, adultery. Are people not doing it?
They are.
Should you get your child, educate her, toil with all the school fees that is around 4-5 million, push your child to university, and then this child is rendered useless and powerless, beaten every day to a point of death? Would that be ideal? Because God hates divorce. And I'm not advocating for it, but they are extremes. For example, I'll give you quickly. I'm a daughter of a reverend. No one wants to divorce, trust me. No woman goes in marriage and wants to leave. Nobody wants that. But there are extents where you realize my own purpose is completely squashed. I'm going to be useless. Yet I had a vision too. And then you look at the whole life that you're living, you realize if I don't jump out of this boat, I'm going down the drain. I was infected with HIV. I was paying rent, paying school fees, abused every day, told I'll never amount to anything, I'll never be anything. To a level where someone tells you, if I never put you on a plane, you'll never board a plane. How many planes have I boarded today? But once you know that there is something in the inside of me, and that's why I say this generation ought to go back to identity. Who are you? What kind of power has God placed in you? What is your wiring? What are you supposed to add on this world, on this, what kind of bridge or brick are you going to add? So if you still have that inside you, you cannot settle. Because the vision will toss you. With the vision inside you, you can never settle.
You can't.
Yeah, so I would still go back to say, let us realize who we are getting married to. Who is this person beyond what they say? Because words are said.
And you see hope.
Yes.
The problem we are facing lately is that most of these are in the church.
Yes.
Church brothers or even church sisters, because it's a two-way.
Let me cut you short. Do you know that church is the collection of criminals, of
they say church is a hospital. It's
a hospital. So a church, everyone is welcome to church. A murderer, if I murdered somebody yesterday and walked into church, how are you going to diagnose my character and just, you're never going to know. It's meant to heal, and it takes time. But our people are not taught the truth. Again, I even go back to what is taught in churches. You don't just make people feel good, you tell them the truth. You go back to the reality. So I'm going to meet you, you're still wounded, fresh from the world. But for me, because you say hallelujah and you worship and cry and you sing very well, I'll end up marrying you. Again, we are not mentored, we are not advised. The truth is not out there. People are just falling in love on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. Phones are everywhere. It's not like those days. That's why those marriages stayed. A family would dig deep into your family. They would identify which was the same in the Bible. Go to the family, go to this home, go to my people, fetch a daughter, a woman for my family. So today it's a little bit different because there is liberty, there is freedom. Oh, I met this young man. We don't know where our children are falling in love. We don't know what questions they ask. The time for dating is supposed to be that time where you ask all the hard questions. People are busy getting pregnant.
And this is interesting because now I think now that you say that, I think we should now look into the premarital counseling courses of the church, because people actually date in church.
Yes.
I know people who were openly dating, and even the pastors in the church would vouch for this person, for say the gentleman, because they knew him more. And then when they crossed the line into marriage, tables turned and everyone was like, that man can that man do that? But this is a man, even the pastors would, that man has integrity. That man is good. That is a good choice. And this couple, the lady made sure that they dated in the open.
And it's not about character. It's not saying the men are bad. The men are actually not bad. We are not saying anyone is bad, but we need to know that we fight against powers and principalities. So when a door is opened, a great door is opened to me, but many are the adversaries.
Right.
People don't know that the moment you get this ring on your finger, it is battle, it is work, it is intentionality to maintain it. The higher you go, the deeper the devils. New levels, new devils.
Yeah.
So the moment people get married, they think that's it. They don't understand that this gentleman for 30 years has been in a different economy, a different social life. He's been raised by different parents with different views. This young lady who is 20 is coming from a totally different background. So fusing and merging those two, it is not going to be a bed of roses. There has to be a work that is put in there. That's why I still go back again to identity, to purpose, to see how you meet. Where do you meet? And how are you able to work together with your differences?
Right.
Because in this tradition, people don't know that differences are power. People don't know that being different is actually your power.
An opportunity.
It is an opportunity, but if you don't know that it's an opportunity, you'll fight it.
Right.
You're going to come against it thinking, oh, he's different, he does things like this. Use that to your advantage. But if you don't know how to use that, then you start fighting the wrong person who would have been your helpmate. Right. Because your helpmate brings in what you don't have.
Right. And I guess in a bit we'll also expound on who a helper is. Because to men, a helper is a doormat. To men, a helper is one you beat anyhow you feel like. A helper is one you abuse verbally anyhow you feel like. A helper is generally a doormat. It's similar. Anyone, you use them according to what men are wired, what we see in society. A helper is when they say, you must submit to me, you must be a helper. To them, it's actually a very corrupt. If you
reach a level where you have to raise your voice to tell a woman to submit,
there's a problem.
No, you've lost it.
You've lost it, yeah.
The leadership is gone.
That's true. That's true. I agree, because respect is earned and not commanded. Allow me to read some of the comments coming through. And I'll start with somebody who comes through and says, why is divorce recommended once family affairs turn to a negative side? And should a couple with kids divorce? If they have a disagreement, how does that feel to children? There is the contradiction where you leave someone but your heart is uncomfortable, yet he or she has done nothing to me or to you as left. What could probably be the cause of that? This statement or question reminds me of a statement that is quite common in the marriage circles, that I'm staying because of the children.
Yes.
I'm staying for the children.
But do you realize that even when the children grow, they never leave? Even when the kids are big, they don't leave. They just want to feel like they have the power to leave. But you have the ability to be able to stand without the man, is the question. Many women think divorce is easy. It's not. It's not at all. You must have bulldog tenacity. You must have a vision that is bigger than anything. You don't just leave a man just because you feel everyone is leaving and they are now flying, they are okay. Just because Hope divorced and she's doing this, no. There has to be a drive that surpasses any challenge that comes to you. You must have a strategy. Women just wake up angry and they pack bags and go. And then 1 week they are crying. No, that's not how it's done.
So should people stay married because of children? Is it something that is right?
Yes, when the children are young, unless you have a strategy and you know you can take care of them, why are you going to afflict them, cause them pain and fail to pay their school fees, feed them poorly, put them in a bad house just because a man was seen with a WhatsApp message and you're leaving? The reason has to be really life-threatening.
Because for many women, you notice that even they need to protect their children from what's happening in the home.
Yes.
That these children are learning.
You see, the thing is not bandwagon. We can't honestly just come and say, what worked for you worked for me. It has to be case by case, and it has to be really analyzed, not just one side. Someone should not just come and tell you a story and advise them. There are people who have come and they've divorced and they're telling me, you know what, Hope? I am going to work on myself and I'm going to get another man. I look at them in my head, I'm like, no, you're not going to get another man, because you'll attract the same container as the one you left. The contents, if they don't change, the container will just shift colors and pants and height. So you think that you've changed, I'm going to get another man. Again, you can only attract your equal. The man you have that you want to live is your level. Unless you go back and build yourself and understand and build the character in you, the wiring, and change a few things, which we call growth, you will never be able to attract that you watch on TV, Telenova, and admire. Right.
Now let's look at the increasing level of single motherhood.
Yes.
Should it be a brand? Because on social media lately, somebody asked me a question that is it okay to be a single mother?
It is okay. What are you going to do, die?
Should it be a brand? As one would say that, oh, I'm Hope, I'm a life coach. you know?
Okay.
Should one tag and brand themselves as that, as if it's their label attached to it, yet it's just a condition that's temporary sometimes? Or what do you think?
Again, we go back to mindset. Why people are labeling themselves like that is because they're avoiding the tough questions.
Right.
And two is because they just want to fit in and make it normal. It shouldn't be normal. But then again, it doesn't mean you should be castigated because you separated and you're a single mother. So why are they doing that? And then where we're going, you're going to realize that many of the people, because that was one of the most shunned word or title in our tradition, until of recent, where people are coming up to talk about it openly. And then now those that feel, okay, I'm a single mom and I have nowhere to go, they feel, okay, I can tag on this brand and not be abused or laughed at and labeled as useless. But the ones who say that are the ones who have the capacity, especially when money is introduced.
Right.
And the life that you lived married cannot even compare to what you're living now. There is peace. You now live, you can pay your fees, you can build a home, you can drive a car. That's why people are saying, you know what? I'm a single mother and I'm okay.
I'm okay, I'm peaceful. Somebody is saying that we are tying this conversation to just one gender. No, unfortunately not. It's because if both parties can divorce, but the statistics show that women initiate divorce the most, and there are reasons why women end up initiating more than the men. That's why I think you think it's aligning, but even the men do initiate divorce, and there are reasons to it, because even women fail men many times. Women fail men many times, and indeed it comes to a place where a man can't hold it anymore.
They do, but men don't usually rush to divorce their women.
Yes.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
When women are given power, they are very dangerous. The moment a woman takes money and power, they are unruly. So they just feel like, you know what, I don't need you anymore. Yet when men get money, they want more women. But when women get money, they just want to go away now. They want to make their choice. So when men make the money and they are in home and everything is moving on well, it's unlikely unless you become a problem to him and he has no peace. Because they'll always settle for where peace is and where submission is. And peace can only come because men are wired to respect. Well, for us, we are looking for love, flowers, dating. A man is wired to respect. He understands love as respect.
On that note, I think we'll definitely be having you again for this topic because it's wide, and I think men should also come to a place of empowerment, because I've also realized that men, while they say they want respect, they do not know the definition of respect. For some, it's insecurities that they are feeding as respect. And then it confuses one from that front. But as we close this conversation, where is the place of accountability for both parties, men and women, in marriage?
Again, I will not go out of what I do best. A man comes in as a lead, as a head, and the oil can only flow from the top. And then the woman can only give you, because for us we are just there to increase whatever you give us. The women only come in to add value to that you've given them. So if we go to accountability, I would say a woman just has to have a template of knowing that with the man we are the better, how can I call it? We are a better team. Even the man ought to understand that with a wife or a woman, we are the bigger team.
Right. Very profound. Now I understand you have an event coming up.
Yes, please.
Let's speak into it. What is it about? How should we be part of it? Who is it for?
The event that I have is mainly trainings. I do preach, but I notice that one message on a pulpit does not work for everyone that is up there. Different people are stuck at different levels. Right. I can be preaching hope, peace, prosperity, but a woman is thinking, look at the shame I'm going through. Will I ever come out of this? So I tailor these programs again to take them through identity. Who are you? Because people are fighting. I may see you here doing a good program and tomorrow I start it. I don't understand how you're wired and how I'm wired. So I go back to the wiring of a human being, a woman, and the wiring of a man. What is it that you can capitalize in given the way you are wired? And then two, whatever level you are stuck at, we go back and diagnose and break it down and help you recover. Because I've noticed that many people have been rendered useless and powerless, I'm sorry to say, because of the little circumstances they've gone in. But there is no situation that is permanent. So people are making permanent decisions based on temporary situations. And this event here is just to open up your mind. Right. I'm only dealing with mindset. Not disrespect, go divorce or deal with this. Mindset is going to solve 1,000 problems in this nation if we can have people be aligned and think the right way.
Right.
Yes.
You are starting over, you are starting wiser. A Rebuild Summit for women, an opportunity for you as a woman to be part of it, and that is beauty for ashes. We all get to points where life becomes ashes. But in those ashes, God sees a lot of beauty that he wants to bring out. And he's using women of valor like Hope Kemigisha to just hold that out of you and bring it out of you. Now, the venue is at the Kampala Serena Hotel, and it will be next month, June 13th and 14th, 2 days. And time will be 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Investment, that is the fee. It's $200, meals provided as well. You are invited for it. How best do we follow you and get more information and just keep up with the update, every update for that particular day? Hope Kemigisha. I've never used anything more than that. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. I respond. Right. Because I think that is where I started talking to people. Right. People do question, even men come in. Men have a lot of problems, you'll be shocked. They have a lot of them. But you can find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter, find me on Facebook, and just follow. Right. And join us. Let's change this world, but we start with you. Right. It's been a pleasure having this conversation.
Thank you so very much.
Looking forward to having you back for yet another in-depth conversation regarding family and empowerment at that. It is Good Morning Uganda on UBC. Thank you so much for being on the show. And just a traffic advisory for you, Katonga Works section asphalt laying works have commenced on the new bridge approaches at Katonga along the Kampala-Masaka highway, and works will continue for 3 days under a half-width carriageway arrangement, which may cause traffic delays due to reduced road space. So be sure that you are well informed on that and plan your movement better. Good Morning Uganda does continue, so stay tuned. It's Good Morning Uganda and you're watching UBC TV.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.